I trusted my fiancé and my sister. Mistake. They say your wedding week is supposed to feel magical, like a dreamy countdown to forever. But standing on the porch of my parents' lake house in Vermont, suitcase in hand, watching my fiancé and my sister laugh a little too closely over a shared drink, all I felt was off. Josh and I had been engaged for 8 months. He was everything a parent could hope for, clean-cut, well-spoken, dependable. My mom adored him, my dad shook his hand with a kind of silent approval I'd never even gotten. And most of the time I did feel lucky. Safe. But Josh hadn't texted me much that morning. No can't wait to see you, no miss you, not even a heart emoji. Just, got here fine. Lily's already inside. That was it. Lily. My older sister. My maid of honor. We've always had a complicated relationship. If you've ever had a sister who could outshine you in every room without trying, you get it. She was the wild child turned reformed rebel. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have trusted her with my spare lip gloss, let alone my future husband. But after therapy and a dramatic move to Arizona, she'd cleaned up her act. At least that's what she told me. And when I asked her to be my maid of honor, she actually cried. Said she'd been waiting her whole life for a second chance to be good to me. So I believed her. As I wanted to. The lake house was exactly how I remembered it from childhood summers. Worn wood floors, porch swings, the scent of pine and sunscreen. But everything felt different this time. Like the walls were listening. Josh and Lily were already on the porch when we arrived. My mom was rambling about flower delivery times, and I was halfway through a yawn when I saw them. Josh, shirt slightly wrinkled, holding a glass of iced tea. Lily, barefoot, one leg tucked under her, sipping from the same glass. Their faces were close. Too close. Laughing quietly at something only they understood. I stopped on the last step. My mom breezed past me, oblivious. Josh stood up, smiling like nothing was strange. "Hey babe," he said, reaching for my suitcase. "Hey." I kissed him quickly, then turned to Lily. She smiled like always. Perfect teeth, easy charm. "You made it," she said, pulling me into a hug. "We were just catching up." I nodded. Just catching up. I told myself not to overthink it. That Lily had known Josh for years. They'd met through me, obviously, and that she was just being friendly. That I was being insecure. Jealous. But that night, as we sat around a fire pit near the dock, I watched the way Josh looked at her when she talked. The way she laughed at his jokes like they were the funniest thing she'd ever heard. The way their eyes lingered 1 second too long. Later, when everyone else had gone to bed, I went to grab my phone charger from the kitchen. I passed by the guest bathroom and heard voices. His and hers. Whispering. Muffled. But one sentence from her cut through the quiet. "You said this wouldn't feel like this." I froze. Footsteps. Silence. I backed into the hallway, heart hammering, pretending I'd dropped something. Josh came out first. He didn't see me. Lily followed 30 seconds later, her arms crossed tightly against her chest. I didn't say anything. I went back to my room, lay in the dark next to Josh's breathing body, and stared at the ceiling fan spinning slowly above us. I didn't sleep, because something in my gut had shifted. And once that feeling settles into your bones, never really leaves. The next morning, the sun came in like nothing had happened. Like it didn't hear what I did. Like it didn't care. Josh was already downstairs when he was scrambling eggs, smiling like the man I was about to marry. He kissed my cheek, asked if I slept okay, poured me coffee in my favorite mug, the one that said "Future Mrs." on it in gold script. I nodded. Lied again. Sipped coffee I couldn't taste. Lily walked in a few minutes later, barefoot in Josh's hoodie. That stopped me. It was the gray one, his college hoodie. The one I always stole when I was cold. The one that still smelled like his laundry detergent. She stretched like a cat, grabbed a banana and said, "Hope you don't mind." I couldn't find my sweater. Josh didn't react. Didn't even look surprised. I tried to laugh. "Guess I'll have to fight you for it." She smiled. "You always win, Em." Did I? The rest of the day was filled with wedding prep chaos. Finalizing playlists, checking delivery times, folding napkins into little bows. Nicole, my best friend from college, arrived that afternoon and helped me with a seating chart. She was the first person I felt safe enough to ask. "Is it just me or is something weird between Josh and Lily?" Nicole paused, pen hovering over the place card list. "Weird like? Weird. I shrugged. "I don't know. Maybe I'm just stressed. I heard them talking late last night and she was wearing his hoodie this morning. Nicole raised an eyebrow. You sure it was his? I hesitated. Pretty sure. It had the little bleach stain on the sleeve. He only wears it at night. She didn't say anything for a moment. Then, I mean, she's your sister. He's your fiancé. That'd be insane. I nodded. Yeah. Insane. But that word stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Was I going insane? That night we had a bonfire. It was tradition. Our family always did one the night before big events. We roasted marshmallows, drank cheap wine from solo cups, told old stories. At some point I lost sight of Josh. And of Lily. 15 minutes later I saw them coming out of the boathouse together. She was brushing her hair back. He was adjusting his shirt. No one else noticed. No one else cared. But my heart was pounding so loudly it drowned out everything else. Nicole leaned toward me. You okay? I nodded again. Always nodding. When we went inside I noticed 2 cups on the kitchen counter. Josh's cup, the blue one he always used. And one with lipstick on the rim. Red lipstick. Lily's favorite color. The next morning I decided to test something. I asked Josh to help me pick the wine for the reception. A small thing. We always made those choices together. He said, why don't you let Lily help? She has great taste in this stuff. Something in my chest cracked. Not broke. Not shattered. Just cracked. Quietly. That night I cried in the shower. Not because I had proof. But because I didn't, and I hated that I wished I did. I hated how invisible I felt in my own relationship. But I still couldn't say anything. Not yet. Because if I was wrong, I'd destroy everything for nothing. And if I was right, I didn't know what that would mean yet. By the time the wedding rehearsal rolled around, I had gotten good at pretending. I smiled in all the right places. Laughed at things I didn't find funny. Let Lily fix my hair even when her hands felt like strangers on my shoulders. Josh held my hand during the prayer, kissed my forehead when no one was looking, like we were the picture-perfect couple everyone thought we were. But inside I was unraveling. Quietly. Invisibly. The ceremony was set to take place down by the lake. A rustic wooden arch, white folding chairs, fairy lights strung through the trees. That afternoon we did a full walkthrough. Everyone had their roles, their marks, their timing. Josh was relaxed, cracking jokes. Lily, right behind me in line, hummed softly under her breath. Nicole squeezed my hand before we walked. Deep breaths, she whispered. I remember walking toward Josh during the rehearsal, watching his smile stretch across his face like it had a script to follow. And then, the officiant, a close family friend, stumbled over his words while going over the rehearsal vows. Instead of saying Emma and Josh, he accidentally said, Lily and Josh. Laughter rippled through the group. Someone clapped. Josh chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. Lily turned bright red, but not the embarrassed kind. More like caught off guard. Everyone shrugged it off as a harmless blooper. But I felt it like a slap. After the rehearsal, while guests headed back to the house for dinner, I told Nicole I needed 5 minutes alone. I slipped behind the path toward the edge of the woods. I just wanted air. Space. A place where I could let the knot in my stomach untangle itself without eyes on me. That's when I heard them. I hadn't meant to eavesdrop. I swear I didn't. But their voices were coming from behind the utility shed. Hushed, but not enough. I heard Lily first. She sounded frustrated. Kiki. We can't keep doing this, Josh. It's not fair to her. Silence. Then Josh quietly. I told you. I didn't plan for this. It just happened. I froze. My blood turned to ice. Lily again. You said you were going to end it. Before the wedding. That was the deal. Deal. My breath caught. Josh's voice got firmer. I love her. I'm marrying her. You knew that. Lily snapped back. Then why did you come to my room that night? I stepped backward too fast and cracked a stick underfoot. The sound echoed like a gunshot in the quiet woods. Silence. Then footsteps. Quick. Getting closer. I turned and walked away. Fast. Not running. But not slow. By the time I got back to the house my face was blank. My heart wasn't. It was pounding like it wanted to escape my body entirely. Dinner was a blur. I didn't taste the food. I didn't hear the music. Josh kept looking at me like everything was fine. Lily laughed too hard at someone's story. And I sat there, stuck in a chair with a glass of wine I couldn't drink, knowing the truth. Something had happened between them. Maybe once. Maybe more. But enough that they had a deal. Enough that it had rules. Enough to break me. And the worst part? No one knew. I was the bride. And I was the only one who didn't belong at my own table. I didn't sleep that night. I lay awake in the guest bed, staring at the ceiling fans spin, arms folded tightly across my chest like I was holding myself together. Literally. I could still hear their voices. Still see Lily's face during the rehearsal, flushed in a way that had nothing to do with nerves. I waited until the house was quiet. Until even the wine-drunk cousins and the snoring uncles had finally gone silent. Then I got up. Lily's room was down the hall, third door on the left. I stood outside it for a full minute before I knocked. Swiftly. Once. Then again harder. She opened the door in one of my old t-shirts. The one with the faded Camp Willa '06 logo on it. She'd stolen it from me years ago. Funny how that didn't feel like a big deal anymore. Her hair was messy. Her eyes tired. But when she saw me she straightened. "Hey," she said like it was normal. Like it was just midnight and I'd come for a heart-to-heart. I didn't let her control the tone. "I need you to tell me the truth." No smile. No softness. Lily blinked. "I don't know what you mean." "Don't." My voice was sharp. Quieter than I wanted but sharp. A long pause. Then she opened the door wider. "Come in." I stepped inside. The room smelled like lavender and her perfume. My perfume, technically, she'd borrowed it from my bag that morning. Gut. She sat on the edge of the bed, fingers knotting together. I stayed standing. "I heard you," I said. "Behind the shed. You and Josh." I heard enough. Her mouth opened. Closed. Then something in her broke, not dramatically but like a leak in a dam. "Okay," she whispered. And just like that, it was out. She didn't deny it. Didn't gaslight. She just sat there, eyes glossy, voice shaking, and said, "It happened once. A few months ago. I was staying in the city, crashing at your place while you were out of town. It just happened. Just happened." My hands curled into fists. "And what about now?" I asked. "Is it still happening?" Lily shook her head quickly. "No. I swear. I ended it. He said he was choosing you." "He said that to me too." Silence. Was it just one time? A long pause. Then, "I don't know how to answer that." That was the answer. My chest felt like it cracked open. "You were supposed to have my back," I said, barely above a whisper. "You were supposed to be my sister. My maid of honor." "I didn't plan for it," she said, wiping her eyes. "I didn't go after him. We were drinking and we talked and it felt like something I hadn't felt in a long time. But it was a mistake. I knew it right away." I swallowed hard. "So you just moved on? Put on the dress, smiled for pictures, helped me plan this wedding like nothing ever happened." "I thought I could bury it," she whispered. "I thought if I helped make your day perfect it would cancel it out somehow." I laughed once. Dry. Ugly. "You don't get to cancel out betrayal, Lily." She didn't argue. Just looked at me finally like my sister again. Not the girl who always wanted what I had or the woman who thought she could hide a secret behind glitter and fake smiles. "I'm sorry," she said. And I knew she meant it. But it didn't matter. Some things can't be undone. I left her there on the edge of the bed, in the silence of a room that wasn't hers. And maybe never should have been. When I got back to mine, Josh was asleep. Peaceful. Like the man I thought I loved still existed somewhere. I lay next to him without touching him. And for the first time in my life I knew exactly what I needed to do. The morning of the wedding was disgustingly perfect. The lake shimmered like glass. The chairs were lined up in straight white rows. Guests posed with mimosas, and soft acoustic music drifted through the trees like a lie I was tired of telling. My mom cried early, happy tears she thought. My dad took my arm before the walk down the aisle and said, "You got this, kiddo. Today's the beginning of everything." He was right. Just not in the way he imagined. I stood behind the floral archway, veil pinned, bouquet trembling slightly in my hands. Josh stood waiting at the altar, polished, grinning, smug. Lily stood just behind me, silent, tense, and I was done playing along. The music began. All eyes turned. I walked halfway down the aisle, slow, measured. Then I stopped. Gasps. Whispers. Phones subtly lowered. I took the microphone meant for our vows and looked straight ahead. Before we continue, I just want to thank all of you for being here today. It really means a lot that you came to witness something real. Pause. Dead silence. I've spent this week telling myself everything would be fine, that love conquers all, that family means forgiveness. But I've realized something. You can't build a marriage on lies. I looked at Josh. He froze. Josh, I said evenly, you should have told me the truth the first time you slept with my sister. A ripple went through the guests. A fork clattered onto a plate. Josh went pale. Lily's hands were shaking. And Lily, I turned slowly, locking eyes with her, if you wanted what was mine so badly, you could have at least waited until after the ceremony. You could have heard a pin drop. But what hurts the most? I asked, my voice shaking just enough. I believed both of you. I trusted you more than anyone. And you didn't just betray me. You betrayed the version of me who loved you enough to let you in. I held up the engagement ring, felt its weight one last time. So no, there won't be any vows today. A few shocked gasps. Someone stood up. I didn't care. I turned to the crowd. But there will be honesty. To every woman who's been lied to, cheated on, made to feel paranoid for trusting her gut, this is your sign. Trust yourself. And if you're gonna burn it all down, make sure the fire keeps you warm. I walked over to the little altar table, placed the ring down slowly and turned on my heel. No dramatic music. No tears. Just steps. One after another, getting lighter with every inch of distance I put between me and them. It was quiet. Then from somewhere in the back, clapping. One person. Then another. Then another. By the time I reached the edge of the aisle, people were standing. Applauding. Not for the wedding, that wasn't. But for the woman who walked away from it.